Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night wherever you may be. You are, of course, watching Sketching Past Midnight, and I am your host, the undisputed, the unchallenged, the greatest of all time, CB Smallwood. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of a slow start. I was trying to multitask, and as you all know, I am not a great multitasker. I'm very challenged on the multi-texting, whatever. I'm multi-challenged. Okay, even the English is leaving me at the moment. Got to sip some water here to keep trying to get my brain under control. Okay, so I always like to do little recaps of everything that I've been working on before I get started. I appreciate everybody that is tuning in live and everyone that will be watching the replay. So if you want to leave a comment in the chat, really appreciate it. And if you leave a comment down in the comment section down in the replay, I will read those as well. I'll read each and every single one of your stuff, and I really, really do appreciate it. Okay, so we're not zoomed in. That's just how it looks. Currently working on my rendition of the Black Terror, who I call Blackheart. Okay, I may think up of a better name a little bit later on, but for right now, this character is called Blackheart. And I'll probably further change this character more and more, making him more and more my own. And I think I've got an awesome story for Blackheart that is, I don't want to say it's original, but when you combine all the different little elements that go into it, I think it amounts to a really cool original story. Of course, as I go into this, I also want to point out that I'm always trying to work on my art, up my game, get a little bit better, and working on my layouts, trying to make things more dynamic, more explosive, and all this other stuff. Then we come over here. This is another random page for the Blackheart series that I'm working on. Now, one thing before I go any further about Blackheart, I just want to say that I'm just kind of drawing pages at random, and the reason is, it's like, I got these ideas in my head that I feel are really awesome and really cool concepts, but when I explain it to people, it kind of just goes right over their head, because they can't see what's in my brain. So I have to take it the next logical conclusion and help welcome them into my brain by drawing what it is that I'm seeing. And then over time, I can go back in and I can do the little filler pages in between to kind of give people a little bit more of a better gander as to what the heck it is that I'm visualizing. I need to use reference for these skeletons and skulls and stuff, but pretty happy with this. This is still a work in progress. I still got to get the whole ship rendered here, drawn, finished. And here we've actually got a Wildcat page. That's something you guys haven't seen in a while. A Wildcat page. Believe it or not, here it is. Yeah, in all its glory. Yeah. And this is a story by the magnificent B.W. Sims. Mr. Sims wrote this really good story about polar bears. I am having trouble rendering the polar bears. Not so much that I can't draw a polar bear. It's just that I want to draw an awesome looking polar bear. Polar bears, plural, meaning more than one. Anyway, as you can tell, there's no polar bears in the story yet. And I don't know. There's all kinds of things I could point out, but I also had to kind of change things a little bit. Like this is originally a 4-panel page as it was laid out in the script, but I added like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I added 2 more panels to it, and the reason was, the script called for I guess what would have been a really cool shot of Wildcat, all chained up, and I had trouble figuring out how to do that pose to get all those little things in there. And so I had to break it up into 3 panels until I can figure out how to do it right. And then in that case, if I can think of a better way to do it, I'll just draw this page over. I really don't care. I'll draw it over. So this is a Wildcat page. And got character designs. Move that out of the way. Oh, and here's this Hulk page I was working on from the other day. Do you guys remember this? The Hulk page? Kind of knocked it out, I think. I think it turned out pretty good. I mean, it ain't nothing to write home about or nothing like that, but I feel like this is pretty good. Pretty good page overall. This was very crude layouts to the Blackheart thing I was working on. And, sorry, I'm moving papers out of the way. Then over here we've got my version, well, pretty much my character, I guess. It didn't come out of nowhere. It's based off of Silver Streak. So this is my version of Silver Streak. And got done with the inks on this. I didn't erase everything fully, Sometimes I hate erasing because you get used to how the pencils look underneath the underlying inks. And what ends up happening is it kind of adds sort of a tone to it. And when you erase the pencil marks, it's just a straight up black and white page. And sometimes it shows you the failings and shortcomings in your art. And that's never a wonderful thing, when you can see those things when they're laid out to bear. That's pretty cool. I mean, look at this. It looks like I know what I'm doing. It looks like I'm a what do they call it? A comic artist. Looks like I'm a comic artist. Can you believe that? Still haven't finished this, and I have a good excuse. I was trying to figure out how to do the hand. I wanted to do something useful with the hand. That's the best I could come up with. That looks okay to me, I guess. And so I might be proceeding with the inking on this very shortly. I tinkered with her face. I made it a little bit better. I just want to do a good job, because this is going to be a promo piece for Monster Patrol. And this is going to be, I guess, a promo piece for Silver Streak. And then... hell, I got all kinds of promo pieces to put up on my website, to put out on social media, to get people, maybe pumped, maybe excited about whatever it is that I'm trying to work on or try to do, So let me put the Wildcat page out here. What is this? Oh, yeah, that's that thing. That's another promo piece. Okay. And what's this? Okay, we'll set that out of the way. We got these 2 pages. So, there we are. Let me sip some water. Okay, water is sipped. All right, so let me pull up the question of the day. And let me see. Where is it at? Right here it is. Question of the day. How will the human race go extinct? Or will it? Or will it go extinct? So this gets into a lot of interesting things. And I will answer this question myself very, very soon. But it's an interesting question. How will the human race go extinct? How do you think it will happen? Will it ever happen? And if so, how? And why? All those wonderful things. Well, I guess it's not a wonderful thing. It depends on how you look at it. But there you go. So with that said, we've got a lot of comic booking to do. So I guess the best thing to do is, since I need some reference for the skeleton guys back here, I like this skeleton the best. There's something very thoughtful and introspective about him. I don't know what it is, but yeah. So I'm going to set this aside and put him over there. I'm going to make this forefront and center, and I guess I'll start inking on this. I got these brushes handy, ready to go. I've been really enjoying the use of brushes. It's very therapeutic. I've only been using this brush a lot for the past little bit. Sorry if you can't see that. It's very dark for some reason. But I've been using this Bimoji. I don't know if this is a Japanese or Chinese brush. I'm going to assume Japanese because, manga, that sort of thing. But, Japanese also use Chinese characters, and so it's really hard for me to tell. I can tell, Korean characters, they're very distinctive. They only got like 20-something letters in their alphabet. I can't remember how many letters exactly, but I could be wrong about that, but I think it's like 20-something. But like in Japanese, they've got like, I'm going to get my brushes out. They've got like, gosh, I don't know. Is it hundreds of letters? I don't know. And then also they use Chinese, bits of Chinese here and there in their language, which, to be fair, the Koreans do as well. And whenever you find a brush that looks like this, you just got to end it and put it out of its misery and throw it away. So let me get my vials of ink. I got all kinds of doodads here. Sorry I'm not properly prepared here. I was running through the house earlier as the show countdown was beginning, and got my ink out. And then my dog started barking, and I don't know what he's barking at. We've got coyotes that have been hanging around, doing their thing. They sound like they're itty bitty pups. I like to catch one, make it my pet. So anyway, we're going to ink here a little bit. Let me get my ink open. Okay. And I've been enjoying using this brush. The brand is Dollar in Ronnie. I know you can't see that. I'm sorry. Camera's having trouble here. But anyway, it is 2/0. It says that it's a spotter or something like that. So I enjoy using the brush because after a little bit of practice, I can get somewhat fine details with this. Get my ink ready here. So let's go ahead and let's zoom in so you can observe all the mayhem. Gotta breathe. For multiple reasons, whenever you use a brush, it tends to be very unruly. It has its own it's its own beast. And you have to be careful. It's like petting a crocodile. I mean, like, those crocodiles that they got in some of those zoos are fairly tame, I guess, because they're well fed. But at the same time, you stick your head in the mouth of a crocodile in there only so often till eventually it just clamps down, because it's its nature, That's just how it's wired, it eats. Not to say that there ain't some species of crocodile out there, or not some species, but like a crocodile that wouldn't do that, because animals like humans tend to have personalities and their own wants and needs, but still. Anyway, I'm not talking about crocodiles. I'm talking about inking. And why this is relevant is like whenever you use a brush, it's like sticking your head in the mouth of a crocodile. And ever so often you get bit. But it's still an amazing thing, And I feel like whenever you're brushing, using a brush to ink, it is kind of a really cool thing because you can get awesome results with using a brush, but like the discipline it takes to use one, I'm not quite there yet. I haven't got it all figured out. You gotta have that discipline. Oh boy. Feel pretty good here lately. I know that nobody's really asking, but I'm just gonna throw that out there. It's been hot or kind of muggy the past couple of days, like old man winter. He never really wants to give it up, He kind of wants to linger around, just kind of, hang on to it. The seasons always kind of want to linger longer than what they should sometimes. But he's finally, no, not old man winter, it's old man summer. Is it old man summer? Yeah, whatever. And finally, old man winter, there we go, is finally kicking it into gear and realizing, oh shoot, I need to start upping up my game because we're into the fall now and got leaves are falling off the trees and stuff, All right, so let me get some ink here. But I'm enjoying the cooler weather. I like it. I like standing in front of the heater, warming my bones, seeing the flickering of the flame. I like wearing jackets. Like the cool air in general, Feel like cool air helps me sleep. And, for anyone that's not been following my situation, I turned out that I'm a person that has high sugar. I still have it under control, and it hasn't been over 200. And since about OD'd on sugar during the summer, during the quarantine or whatever. I guess it's during the summer, during the quarantine. A couple months ago, where my sugar was like, it was so high the meter couldn't read it. And then when I managed to get it down on my own, I only got it down to like 900 and something. Went to the hospital and, they did the thing that they do at the hospital and they got it down to 700 and then sent me home, which, I later learned, is that a good idea to send somebody home with 700 sugar? But I'm a very stubborn individual, It's like, I guess, why people make it sound, it's like a miracle that I'm walking around, but that's not to toot my own horn or anything. I guess it is a little bit, But man, the more I learn about the situation, the more I'm like, grateful, because things could have ended badly for me. But that whole sugar business, it's no joke. I've been really bad sick a couple times in my life. I've been sick in general, different times in my life, but as we all. But there's 2 really bad episodes, I guess, maybe more than that, but 2. And the sugar deal was one of them. it's like the only way I can describe it is it just feels like you're dying. Your body's just slowly shutting down, one critical system at a time, because it can only sustain so much. Oh gosh, you can't even see what I'm drawing. I'm sorry. My bad. I could actually do this on camera. I'm loving all these Twitch viewers I got here. It's like, how the heck can you get Twitch viewers? That's what I want to know. Where you guys at? Certainly not here. Now, I'd be saying, why ain't you just uploading to YouTube, like you have been? Well, YouTube has been making my life kind of hard here lately with the live streaming, because I had a really awesome setup with Prism Live Studio, and then they did a whole thing where I didn't have 1,000 subscribers. So then they decided that they revoked my a lot of my privileges that I had before. And then I found myself no longer being able to live stream through my phone using Prism Live Studio, which is really unfortunate because it's got all these features and stuff I love, and I just don't want to give it up. And so then, I was using, I went back to using StreamYard, but I find StreamYard, I like StreamYard, don't get me wrong, but I find it to be very unreliable. Because my internet service provider, they're throttling my internet. Whenever I get about to the 19-minute mark, 20-minute mark on my uploads, which is disgraceful, shameful. You should get what you pay for, and I'm paying a lot, so I'm not getting what I pay for. And so I got the throttling issue going on, and also the YouTube thing where they're not letting me stream from my phone using Prism Live Studio, and it's just like phooey on it. YouTube's just making it harder and harder to be on their platform, and I'm not giving up. I'm having to change the name of the game and giving Twitch a shot, seeing how Twitch goes. I'm still uploading to YouTube, still doing that, of course. You're probably watching this video there. But, yeah, that's the whole shtick of that. Let me move up here where you can see. Okay, there we go. Let me sip my water. Okay. So, here we are. I got this. Boop-a-doo. I really like adding these shadows because it really makes things pop in a really cool way. Really enjoy that. Makes it look like I know what I'm doing, And if anyone thinks that I do, mission accomplished, because I've got you fooled. Here we go. I'm getting this on there. All right. I want to add a couple more little shadings to the helmet to make it pop in a cool way, maybe. These guys right here that's packing Wildcat, they are two intergalactic warrior bounty hunter type dudes. Ooh. Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much who they are. These two intergalactic warrior bounty hunter dudes, and there they are. And they've captured Wildcat, and I know you can't really tell, but they're packing him, and then they're tying him to this stake here on the ground. He got his hands chained behind his back as well. Chain, I know this is pretty crude, but chain running through his mouth. And here they are walking away. And in the last shot, I had trouble doing this, and then it turned out really cool there toward the end. This is my favorite panel on the whole page. Wildcat is just there, and this is more like the shot that should have been up here. But Wildcat's all chained up here, and there's the spacecraft flying by and stuff like that. And so I really, really like this panel here. I got a yawn. Okay. Toot. I kind of want to do this panel right here. Is that all right with you guys? I'm going to assume that is a yes. So that's what I'm going to do. Got like a clump of ink on the end of this brush. Got to get it off. So, what else is going on that would be interest of you? Well, for those of you that are still stuck with me through this almost 30 minutes now, I'm going to figure out this live streaming thing, and I want to get back to where I was at, because I was rocking and rolling there pretty good there for a little bit, or at least I thought it was. But the other thing that I'm doing is concerning the live stream is I'm going to take the show in a really cool, interesting direction, and I just ain't got the cojones yet to pull it off. I'm really wanting to get into a lot more spooky stuff, a lot of interesting things. I want to merge my interest, and so I might be doing that here soon. I don't want to talk too much about it, because what I end up doing is I talk more about what I'm planning on doing as opposed to actually doing it. And so I just need to do it and let the cards fall where they may. And it's going to require a lot of editing. And I think that's where my apprehension comes about, is the editing part. Because what I like about live streaming is I can just do it. Just do a little bit of prep beforehand and just lay it all bare, let the cards fall where they may, Don't be so uptight about things and stuff like that, But I'm wanting to grow my YouTube channel and my show, Sketching Past Midnight. And I think this is a good way to do both, where people will be willing to sit and watch me draw, talking about spooky things. And I think it's going to be really cool. I don't know. We'll see, Don't want to say too much other than what I just told you, but it's kind of direction I'm thinking about going in. I think it's going to be neat if I can pull it off. All right, so we're at the 30-minute mark, and I want to talk about the question of the day, which I threw out earlier. Let me remind everybody, in case you didn't get a chance to see it. Question of the day. How will the human race go extinct? Well, all right. So, didn't really come prepared with an answer for this one. I have a rough idea how it would probably go. So let's go ahead and let's get started on this question. So this is my answer to that. How and will the human race go extinct? Well, I believe we will. The odds are not in our favor, unfortunately. Or maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. But, the miracle of life is a really wonderful thing, scientists are trying to figure out if life is more common than what we think in terms of single cell organisms and that sort of thing on other planets, moons, asteroids, whatever, growing in living and thriving in the most unlikeliest of places, But when I think of life, I'm thinking of complex organisms. I'm thinking about things much larger, such as plants, fish, mammals, and reptiles, and amphibians, different species of animal from all walks of life, birds, or what they call avian dinosaurs now. So the miracle of life is a really wonderful thing in those terms, and it's probably not that common throughout the universe. And the conditions it takes for that to exist is just insane. It's just really crazy. And so, in that regard, it's really important for the human race to become an interplanetary species, a multi-planetary species. And what do I mean by that? Is like we need to live on more than one planet. Right now, we're just living on Earth, and that's fine and dandy. But what happens if a asteroid comes along, or like some hardcore nuclear Armageddon, that after the fallout, 5 to 10 years later, maybe things just get much worse after that, and then the human race just goes extinct in that way due to famine and disease and radiation. Who knows? But but the thing is, there's so much stuff that in this precious little planet that we call Earth that can harm us. Things that are just so much larger than us in ways that we can't even comprehend yet, or won't, because we won't allow ourselves to think beyond our own faces, our own wants and needs. But for me, when I think about the end of the humanity, comes down to us not being an interplanetary species, if that's the right term. But even that, I still think we would still go extinct in the long run, But it would help prolong our species for a very, very long time. See, there's several things to think about. Even if we never get hit by an asteroid or a comet or whatever that's like very large, like the size of Texas, and did what it did to the dinosaurs. Even if something like that doesn't happen, even if there's no nuclear Armageddon followed by famine and disease, death, even if that doesn't happen, we still have to be concerned with the sun. There's a lot of scientists. In a way, I appreciate everyone trying to date everything, but I think there's a little bit of arrogance too, assuming that the sun is as young as they think it is, And when I say young, I'm thinking maybe in their terms, the sun might be more getting close to being middle-aged, getting ready to have its midlife crisis. But I think that there's a possibility the sun might be much older than what we think it is. And if that is the case, expect the sun to get a lot hotter, not colder. And we're seeing signs of that already with many of the planets in the solar system warming up. So for those of you that cling to the idea that global warming is purely because of human beings' contribution to chemicals in the ozone layer and whatever else, you really need to look into planetary sciences and look at the fact that Mars and Venus and all the other planets, they're all warming up. They're getting warmer. And so why is that? It's because there's this big thing called the sun, And why is the sun getting warmer? Well, they have theories, they have ideas of why that is, But at the end of the day, the science of the sun is still relatively new. I mean, we've studied the sun for centuries, but we've only really started to understand it, I think, in a greater sense here in the last 100 years, maybe. Possibly. Who knows what the ancients knew? We don't, a lot of those documents and stuff are lost to us, the tablets. But anyway, the end of the world. Where was I at? So, we need to get on other planets. We need to get to Mars and all this other stuff, because as the sun warms up, there will come a point where the sun will get so hot it will get past our magnetosphere, and our magnetosphere may actually fail. And for those who don't know what that is, there is a like a liquid iron core in the center of the Earth, and it spins and stuff, and it churns around, all this other stuff, and it creates this magnetic field around the Earth. So as the sun's solar rays hit the Earth, they don't even get a chance to hit the Earth, because they bounce off this magnetosphere that forms around the Earth, right? And why this is important is it protects the Earth, the magnetosphere. Because we know in the case of Mars, what ended up happening is the core of Mars began to fail. It began to slow down, and the magnetosphere in Mars just kind of went away. And then over a process of millions of years, the sun stripped away Mars's atmosphere until it is what it is today. Because Mars used to be a frozen water world at one point, and probably a warm water world at one point. When I say water world, I don't mean the whole surface of the planet was covered with water, but it had oceans and lakes, and it had frozen oceans and frozen lakes. It went through different periods. You have to keep in mind the distance of Mars when compared to how close the Earth is to the sun. Mars is a little bit further out than what we are. So you can imagine that the temperature of Mars would be a little bit colder. It probably snowed there, I would imagine, and stuff. But because their magnetospheres failed, the sun stripped away that atmosphere over a process of millions of years, or at least we assume so. And so even our magnetosphere could fail. That could be a game changer. But fear not, we have time to figure things out in that regard, in the terms of thousands and millions of years. But it's still something to be concerned about, something to think about. I'm just trying to give you all nightmares, really. I want to keep you up at night. I want you guys to think about the crap that keeps me up. How about that? So, I think ultimately, I'm trying to dip some more ink on here. Ultimately, what will probably end up happening, best case scenario is the human race has survived the death of our solar system, because at some point, our solar system will die. Our sun will go supernova and get really hot, get really big, and then it will turn into a dwarf star. And then even that will turn into like this little red ember of a star. And then, I'm not really sure on this next part, but it may turn into a black hole or something. I don't know, whatever. But a lot of the planets in the solar system, a lot of the bigger ones, once their mass ends up being larger than the star, they'll break away, I would imagine. And when they start to break away, it would cause havoc in this tiny solar system we have. And then eventually the fine, delicate dance of all these planets will be disrupted. And then planets will go out like a sea of marbles everywhere. Not all of them, but most of them everywhere. And they will become what's known as rogue planets, where they traverse the universe forever, just going. God, that's scary, right? And you can get some, you can get some cool science fiction ideas for that. I got a few of my own, um, but our solar, assuming humanity makes it past that and we become an interplanetary species, we get past the Oort cloud, which is this. I guess it's like an icy debris field that goes past Pluto, way past Pluto, and it's like a protective shell in a way for our solar system. And they found that there's this large source of heat coming from out past the Oort cloud. This big layers of rocks and ice, and so I'm assuming that we must be close to something that's giving off heat, maybe another solar system. Who knows? Maybe I don't know. I have no clue, but neither do scientists at this point, as of 2020. Who knows? Maybe this video survives the Mad Max apocalypse, and someone's watching this video in like 3050 or 4040 or something. They're like, oh, everyone knows what's out past the Oort cloud. You silly savage, drawing your nifty pictures. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they're firing up their generators and they're watching this from these abandoned servers in this future world of Google, and this is one of the few videos that pop up that survived. The rest of them, got water damaged as the cement and stuff, and this bunkered like Google layer building collapsed. And this this video of me talking about the future, talking about how humanity will go extinct. This is what you are watching in the year 4050. Honestly, this video probably won't make it past year 4050 because, it costs a lot of money to have videos on YouTube servers. And so within the next 20 or 30 years, something drastic is going to happen, and they're eventually going to have to charge people money or get a lot more advertisers on here than what they're doing. But that's a whole different story. But I imagine they'll start deleting old videos. Only videos that are the most popular will survive. But anyway, so where was I? So our solar system, that's kind of how our solar system will meet its end. And humanity, if we make it past that, we'll go beyond our solar system, spreading out throughout the known universe. And if we make it even then, living on different planets and faraway solar systems, there's still another issue of what happened in this solar system is destined to happen in all solar systems, which is all stars throughout the known universe will eventually go supernova, and they will slowly age out and die. We'll see fewer and fewer stars in the universe as they just kind of disappear over time, fade away. And then there will be nothing but a sea of red embers everywhere you look, wherever you can find these few red embers that are burning in the night sky. And humanity trying to use these as a energy source will cluster around these red dying stars. And then possibly, if our technology is advanced enough, about the only other frontier to go in is to into some weird microverse maybe, or maybe go into another dimension for hope for a better tomorrow, a better future. Then there's always the possibility that if we survive past the dying universe, past the dead red stars, will we witness the birth of a new universe? Will the universe collapse in on itself and then the Big Bang happen all over again? And could we even survive a Big Bang? Well, I think a lot of that's wishful thinking, Not saying that we couldn't be capable of it, But in the words of Joe Biden, whether you like him or not, come on, man. Come on. It's like, it's like, uh, we should have been, we went to the moon in I think it was the 1960s. Correct me if I'm wrong. We should have been, we should have been to Mars sometime in the mid 70s, late 70s, and we should have had a moon base no later than the 1980s. None of that happened. None of that happened. And to answer the question of the day, because I know I've kind of went all over the place here. Question of the day was, how will the human race go extinct? We will fail to become a multi-planetary species. We will stay on the earth because we're so short-sighted. We always question, why should we go somewhere else and invest time and effort into this thing when we got problems here on earth? And those voices will always win out, I don't know why. But, and I guess there'll be politicians that will try to placate that and placate. But I think ultimately there's, we will explore our solar system fairly well. But as far as like actually establishing colonies, as of right now, I'm kind of doubtful because we don't have a good track record. We have a great track record of doing it here on Earth, but not on other planets. It doesn't mean that it can't happen. It doesn't mean that it won't happen. But the pessimist in me will say that more than likely we will pussyfoot around till it gets to the point that sometime in the future, could be soon, could be 100 years, could be 1,000 years, could be 10,000 years. Some asteroid will be sent on a course to our planet, and that will be all she wrote. It doesn't even have to hit our planet. It could hit the freaking moon, and the big chunk of the moon is heading toward Earth now. I mean, there's so many different ways that things could go wrong. But yeah, sorry if this is a depressing topic, but I just think it's so fascinating. Very, very fascinating. Not really happy with how I rendered these chains, but that's okay. That's somewhat better, I guess. I don't know. So let's zoom out here. This, everything's coming together, so. Sip my water. Okay. I'll give you my final thoughts. Let me get this little piece of art here. I think it's there. But yeah, sorry if it was a depressing topic, but I found it very fascinating. I hope you did as well. But I got big things planned for the future. We'll see if any of that comes to fruition, fruition, or not. It is what it is. But some good stuff planned. I hope you can stick around for that. I hope you enjoyed the show. If there's any topics or anything that you'd like me to cover, or any recommendations to how I can upgrade the show, you just let me know. I do read each and every single one of your comments, and I appreciate them deeply. And as I always say, please be the change that you want to see, because if you want to change the world, you have to change yourself first. So if you're getting tired of all the negative comments and all the hate out there, then you can't contribute to it yourself. You got to take a stand and try to be a positive influence. And there's a lot to be angry about and a lot of justifications of why you should be angry. But sometimes you got to let that hate, you got to take that hate that's in your heart and let it go. Just drop it. Let it go. There's a time to fight and there's a time to love. And then sometimes when it seems like you really, really need to go all out and go to war with people, that might be the time to consider to open your heart up, and take a different path, the harder path, the difficult path, because it's so hard to tell people, that you love them, that you care about them, that maybe there's common ground, to have. So if you want to change the world, be the change that you want to see, and you have to first start with yourself. It's something that I'm trying to practice. I don't live up to it all the time, but I am attempting, and I hope you'll follow me on that journey as well. Please do remember to be that tide lifts all ships, because we can bring each other up together, help one another, help others. And in helping others, you help yourself ultimately. And remember to draw faster, because nothing will ever get drawn unless you draw faster. And it doesn't matter if you're an artist, writer, inker, letterer, colorist, creative person, or somebody that works in a sawmill, Well, sawmill, maybe not so much, because you'll get your fingers cut off. So disregard that advice. But for most everything else in life, don't put around. Get your stuff done. Learn to do it faster, because there's a lot to do. So seize the day, my friends. Carpe diem. Don't waste another second. This is CB Smallwood, the greatest of all time, the undisputed, the unchallenged, so it must be true. Wishing you all a happy Sunday, a happy whenever day, whenever you happen to be watching this video. Until next time, you've been watching Sketching Past Midnight.